Worse times lay ahead, far worse. But George Washington did not know that on July the 20th, 1776, when he finally found time to answer the letter his old comrade Adam Stephen had written more than 2 weeks earlier. Ordinarily, the general, a punctual correspondent, would have replied more quickly to the man who had once been his second-in-command of the Virginia regiment, and who was now a colonel in the Continental Army. But the last few months, and the last few weeks in particular, had been a time that tried Washington's soul as severely as any since the war began. Lately he had barely had time to perform his official duties, much less attend to his private correspondence. Washington had arrived in New York on April the 13th as a hero, the most famous man in North America and perhaps in the English-speaking world. In the summer of 1775 he had taken command of the Continental Army and directed its first great sustained operation against the British, the Siege of Boston, to a successful conclusion. Impatient of the celebrations and ceremonies that followed, he had lingered only a week after the British abandoned the city in March before moving his headquarters to New York. There, as he knew only too well, a magnificent harbor, central location, and water access to the interior via the Hudson River would give his adversary, General William Howe, an ideal base of operations. Since no one knew when the enemy might appear, Washington had set to work immediately to prepare New York's defenses. Nothing had gone smoothly or well. The complex topography of river, harbor, and islands made the area around the city of New York hard to defend, and the thousands of men whom Washington needed to build fortifications had been slow to arrive. As usual, discipline had been a problem, especially among the militiamen on whom he had to rely for much of his manpower. He had been plagued, as always, by shortages of arms and supplies. With the ceaseless application of energy and effort, matters had gradually improved through May and June, but on June the 22nd, just as things were looking up, a nest of loyalist conspirators had been uncovered.